Anyone with children, we're going to show you how to indirectly write off your child expenses when it comes to education. Now, education is far reaching. It could be tuition, it can be books, it can be private school costs, it could be buying a car for your child who's driving to school. It's a lot of things from a tax standpoint that is covered under educational expenses. It could be buying a laptop, buying an iPad, maybe even buying a phone. So we're going to talk about anybody and everybody who is a parent, how we can indirectly write off the cost of education.
And you just want to get paid. Tired of making the money mistakes. Make a payment on your bills and you still late. Yeah, painful profits to help you seek change. And you just want to get paid. Yeah, tired of making the money mistakes. Make a payment on your bills and you still late. Painful profits to help you seek change. Yeah, cut the show and just listen. You want to feel empowered by making money decisions.
Before we get started, as always, though, like, subscribe, share to our channel. As we continue to grow, you know, I'm a certified financial planner. I manage over $250 million in assets. But on these YouTube streets, I give information. Great information, I think, but good information indeed. So we're going to talk about anybody that is a parent, especially if you're a business owner, how we can write off indirectly our child care expenses. Lego. So we're first going to go to the whiteboard and we're going to go over 3 easy steps to make sure that we indirectly write off the expenses for our child. And I'm going to give you an example that we did for our client. Here we go. Write off. Well, the first thing we need to do is be a small business owner. You know the tax code is written for business owners. If we're W-2 employees and we make $100,000, we're going to get taxed more compared to a 1099 small business owner who makes $100,000. Statistics say that if a person made $100,000 as a W-2 employee and the same person made $80,000 as a 1099 employee, even though that person made $80,000 less, $20,000 less, after taxes, the person that's a 1099 making $80,000 gets more money in their pocket. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. And that's why being in business for yourself could be a way to pocket more money. And that's why I recommend everybody, even if you're working a 9-to-5 W-2, do some type of business, some type of quote unquote gig, and over time grow so you can be in a position where you're a full 1099 employee of yourself. Another conversation for another day with a set by Ray. So write off. But the first thing we need to do, be a business owner. Now, as a business owner, how do we go through the process? Well, it's very simple. Number one, we want to pay our child. Now, when we pay our child, we can use a couple websites, kidcasting.com or backstage.com. The reason why these are so important because we get an idea of how much it costs to pay your child for their services. Now, of course, that's just what the market says. You can pay your child anything, high or low, but it's a couple things you want to take in consideration. Number one, $14,000 a year, really $13,800, but we'll say $14,000. If you pay your child $14,000 a year or less, they have no federal taxes. Right? Less than $14,000. Again, $14,000 a year, $13,800 to be exact, but less than $14,000, you pay your child, and guess what? It is no federal taxes. So they just got paid and then have to pay taxes. Now you might have state and local taxes. Here in Florida, it is no state taxes, but from a federal standpoint, no taxes. That's pretty cool. Well, let's take it a step further. You then, because you're paying an employee, you get to write it off. Very, very important for number two. When it comes from a payroll standpoint, you do not have to directly pay your child, right? It is your child. So, what I would recommend, what we actually do for our child, and we have our clients do the same thing if they don't want to directly pay their children, just have it taken out of your account. Now, I have my clients who are small business owners recommend at least they have three different accounts: expense account, payroll account, savings account, and then, of course, the investments as well, right? But the reason why we do an expense account is because if we pay everything with credit cards, which I recommend, every single week we're paying it off, right? So that means we're building points. We have a low utilization rate that builds our credit to the moon. That's what the expense account is for. Literally, money's in and money's going out to pay the credit cards because you put all your bills on your credit cards if you're doing it right discipline wise. But we have the operating expense. And the operating expense account, that is for our payroll for your employees. If you use VAs, you could use PayPal or Wise. I use Wise myself. But you can have the taxes just taken out your payroll account. So it means that they don't send them a check, they don't send them a deposit. The actual taxes just be taken out. So now that money stays in your pocket. Now, of course, if you want to give that to your children, you can, but that stays in their pocket. Not their pocket, your pocket. So that's the payroll. Then the third is, of course, savings, because we do want to have a savings. We recommend even the business having 2 to 4 months of savings in your account from a business standpoint. Personal, 3 to 6 months, but business, 2 to 4 months. Then the rest, SEP IRA, solo 401k, conversation for another day on the Payneful Profits channel. So that's number two, payroll. So now it's deducted. We paid them payroll. So what does that mean? Now it's deducted. We're going to use a $10,000, let's just say. If I pay them 2K, I get to write that off, right? I'm in a 25% tax bracket. That lowers my taxable income. Let's say if I made 100,000, from 100,000 to 90,000. And now that's $10,000 that's written off. With 25% tax bracket, guess what? That is, theoretically speaking, $2,500 in my pocket. By writing off 10,000, I save 2,500, and my child, they have income that's tax-free. Y'all catch my drift, right? But now this is where the fun part starts. This is where we're able to really grow our business by doing the same thing we're doing now. And also, we're able to have educational expenses written off. Number three, you know, 29% sales are higher because of a child in a ad, whether that be social media, on TV, a reel, a TikTok. If it's a buying offer, out of 100 offers, it'll be 29 more buys because we put a child in our ad. And how do we justify paying our child? Put them in an ad, put them in a reel, have them holding your product. For my client, we're going to show you what they did and how they was able to literally do something that's crazy, but they was able to do it from a tax standpoint. So now we just put our children in our ads, not all of them, of course, but that justifies the income, justifies the $14,000 you're paying them, justify you writing off that $2,500 as I step back. And then, of course, again, what else does it do, right? It grows our business by 29%. Now, the real fun starts because I'm going to show you how a client actually made a nice purchase, having it as a tax write-off, and how she set her daughter up for success in the future. Y'all ready for this? So we done went through the basics. We went on how we can actually write something off, right? How we pay our child and they actually don't pay no taxes if it's less than 14,000. We talked about the websites that you can go to, kidscasting.com, backstage.com, to justify you paying your child for services rendered, even though it's your child. They better do it anyways. It is your child. Y'all better do it now. Y'all children. Children ain't like what they used to be. I know I sound like I'm old right now. Do got them gray waves, but I sound like an old fogey. They ain't what they used to be. It's crazy because when my parents said, I said, what do y'all talk about? Now I get it. Children ain't what they used to be. Anyways, that's number two. But number three, and most important from a business standpoint, we put them in our ads, put them in our TikTok videos, our commercials that we run, and it's a 29% chance we're going to have more sales because people have a buying impulse. Something about children. We feel good, right? We want to support. We don't care about the parents, but when it comes to the children, we want to support the children, right? Just like when we do Girl Scout cookies. You ever notice when they're ringing that bell in front of a store, Walmart, Target, etc., right? If it's just the parents out there, you feel some type of way. You just kind of walk past them. I don't got it. Don't got it. Maybe next time. But if it's a little kid out there, right? They got their uniform on, got the badge, right? Hey, mister. Hey, missus. Can you support us for buying some Girl Scout cookies? You can't say no. Well, that is just like looking at ads. Even though we can say no, it's something about seeing a child, the innocence. I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, out of 100 purchases, 29% of the time we buy more because a child is in that advertisement. So by doing that, you're paying them, you're justifying a wage. If you ever get examined or audited, I don't think that's going to happen, but if you do, then of course you can justify by using backstage.com or kidscasting.com. But now we go over the real stuff because we was able to get the write-offs. And now this is how we indirectly write off our child care expenses. And I'm actually going to give you an example of what I did for a client. Did other things for clients, but this client in particular, and how they was able to really help their child going forward. Let's go to the board. Expense time, y'all. Now, again, this is indirectly, not directly, indirectly, but you get the drift. Number one, I had the example, have a client, real estate agent. Well, that client that is a real estate agent, I know I got scribble scrabble, but let's say RE. Let's delete that. So the client that's a real estate agent, she sold a house. Actually sold a few houses, right? Last year, this year the real estate market, last year was booming, right? But last year she sold a few houses. Well, she had a 17-year-old daughter. Guess what the 17-year-old daughter did? She did her social media post, right? She helped take videos when she went to different houses, like a videographer, and she also edited those videos. And we know editing can be expensive. So what does she do? Well, think about it. If I have an editor, I'm going to pay him or her. If I got a person who's copying, pasting, posting on my social media manager, I'm going to pay him or her. So what does she do? She paid her child. She paid her child literally $13,000 a year. Now, this $13,000, she did it in 2022, 2023. What is that a total of? $26,000. Catch my griff. So again, because she paid, guess what she did? She wrote it off. Child, tax-free income because it's less than $13,800. Parent, well, it's a write-off. And you know what? From a payroll standpoint, child didn't get the money. Not directly in their pocket, but it was a write-off, right? $26,000 over 2 years write-offs. You think about the 25% tax bracket, not too shabby. Almost $5,000 back in your pocket. But this is how we do it. The real estate agent paid, and after we pay, then it's time to play. Since she paid the daughter now has income. And with the income the daughter has, we had the bright idea, hey, let's leverage this with the credit for the parent because we know you're going to pay this off. And what do? Bought a car. Now you're saying, buying a car? Well, Going from point A to point B, if I have to drive to school, that is deemed as, yeah, I'm getting closer, y'all. That is deemed as an educational expense. Yes, having to drive to school is an educational expense, just like books, just like a laptop, just like an iPad. It's not all about tuition. So when I have to drive to school, not the gas, but I've had to drive to school, the means to get me to school for my education, that is a educational expense. So the mama took that 26,000, bought a car. But it gets even better. How does it get better? Could it get better? I mean, I'm able to write something off and indirectly, right? Because I did. I paid my child. It was a write off. And then I used that money I paid my child with to buy a car. Indirectly, I paid for a car and got to really write it off. But it gets better because, from a credit standpoint, child was 17. We know if somebody's 15 or older, what can we do? We can put the car in their name and we could buy the car and be a co-signer. Car and daughter's name. Yes, the car is in the daughter's name. Now, why would we do that for? Well, it establishes credit because as the daughter gets older, it shows a few things. Number one, she's been paid income in the past. Number two, she has established credit. She bought a large purchase. Well, the mama was like, I'm not going to stick you with a car payment, but I do want to show this from a credit standpoint. And for the mom, it actually helps build her credit because when it's paid off, since she's the co-signer, it shows that she co-signed something that got paid off. And a $25,000 car is a large purchase. So 1 month after the car was bought, what did they do? They took that $26,000 that was in that money market account. And what do you think they did with it? They paid off the car. So I leveraged credit, improved my credit for my child, improved my credit as a parent because I co-wrote the loan. And more importantly, from a tax standpoint, I was able to indirectly write off a car for my daughter because I paid her for work that she did editing videos, helping me get a sale. Tax-free for her, less than $14,000. Tax write-off for the parent. Only in America, and that's why we say leveraging the tax code to your advantage only helps. And from a strategy standpoint, that's the many ways as a certified financial planner we help our clients. Ain't that something? Our child gets tax-free income. We get to write it off and get money back on our taxes. We get to indirectly use that to buy a car. We get to leverage credit to help our daughter's credit score, leverage credit to help our credit score, and have our daughter with the car and write it as an educational expense. Isn't it amazing? We need to use the tax code to our advantage. We need to use investments to our advantage. And this is one of the many ways we transform our finances. Our financial empowerment program, we talk about it all the time with our coaching, with the not thousands, but over 1,000 clients I have as we manage their money and also do financial planning. This is what we do. We find ways to legally, ethically save individuals money and make money at the same time. We do those two things, we're in good shape after a while. But comment below, great strategy, you don't like the strategy, or do you think it's a better strategy out there to leverage taxes to pay educational expenses and have write-offs? As always, love is love. We're here to help. How y'all like the whiteboard, man? I'm now giving y'all education that y'all can see. Anyways, let's make some payroll profits together, y'all. Peace.